So Teddy Atlas gives his prediction on Canelo versus Crawford. I feel very strongly about this fight. You know where I stand. I'm with Canelo in this bout. I don't think this bout makes much sense, but I want to see what Teddy Atlas says. He's a historian. He's well knowledgeable. He's well recognized in boxing across, from fighters, promoters to managers, commentators, historians. We know who Teddy Atlas is. I want to see what he says. He made some points I want to debunk, but without further ado, I want to get straight into this one.
Thought I was crazy, which they often did. What do you think? They thought I was whatever. Come on. I like Crawford. I like Crawford then. I like him now. I liked him before Canelo looked not so good in his last fight. Obviously, uh, I I thought it was going to be. I just think Crawford's real special. I think Canelo's really good, really good. But I think Crawford is
We got to stop with this. We got to stop. Crawford is special. When we put these two side by side, though, we can't say Crawford special, Canelo's really good. Really good. Really good is insane. Canelo's great. He's outstanding. He's exceptional. He's excellent. He's brilliant. This Canelo, bro, I think a lot of people have forgotten just exactly who we are talking about. This is Canelo Alvarez, 21 years as a professional boxer, over 30 world title fights, almost 20 or now 20 world champions defeated. Come on, really good.
special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. And I think he has it. I see it. The timing, the instinct, the eyes, the 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 ability to be chilly cold, not just cold and calm, but chilly cold, where you can see things other people don't see and react to it. Just I know he didn't have a great performance when he moved.
I'll stop right there. I agree with him on that. Yeah, Crawford's special. The timing, the eyes, the counter ability. Crawford's a cold. Yeah, that's a fact. There's no argument for me out of that point he just made right there.
Up to 154. But he was fighting a good fighter. He was fighting a guy that fought a very difficult style at that moment, and he was fighting at a weight class that was foreign to him. And we had to give him a minute. Nobody wants to give anyone a minute in this business. You're supposed to be great. You got to be great every minute. But I gave him a minute to kind of get his feet settled at a new weight class. And he still did what he had to do to win. But I still
See, that's where I'm not understanding. You're saying Crawford performed bad because he was debuting at 54. He jumped up one division to fight at 54. Now he's jumping three divisions, and you're expecting him to be settled in. He didn't take a tune-up fight. He didn't fight William Skull for the IBF. He didn't fight Derevyanchenko when they offered him that fight. He's jumping up. He's gonna have no time to settle in. He doesn't give himself a minute. I mean, that's on Crawford. I mean, I don't know what else I could really say about that. Like, I don't know. Are you expecting him to just come in there and be, accustomed to the weight? He's not. He's just not gonna be, and that's why I'm going heavily in Canelo's favor.
see the greatness. The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup. It's in his background, where he came from. That there's something about, just like a Sugar Ray Leonard had that something about him when he's a junkyard dog, when he has to be a junkyard dog. And with all the intangible gifts that I just touched on, not just that the ones that we already know that he has speed, he's got power. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles. I believe that he has them. And like I said, when the fight was still mentioned, first mentioned, I should say, I picked him. And now it's a little bit more fashionable. It's a little bit, more easier for people to say, oh, yeah, I can see Crawford winning. And why? Well, Canelo's last performance, real quick, what could it be? I already went over this. You want to hear it in a deeper breakdown? Go back and listen a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever the fight was, to our podcast. And I break it down. I break it down point by point. But right now, I just give an overview of it. Canelo He's either old man time, that undefeated guy, he finally caught up to him. He's old, he's slow. Or here's another one. I already touched on, but I'll say it again. And you can get mad again. Or you can agree again. It's up to you, whatever. But he's made so much money that the urgency's not there. The fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago.
This is my issue. I would agree that Canelo is content with the capital and financial advancements he's made throughout his 20 plus year career. I would agree that that has made him content and lazy. But we just seen him fight in September and last May. Now, what about Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford's giving us a fight every 13 months. We're not talking about how Terrence Crawford may be content with the money he's made. How come when it's Canelo, the hunger's gone? He just fought September. We seen him in September. What has changed in Canelo from September against Berlanga to now May against Skull? He fought a guy who didn't want to engage with him. And as a smaller guy, as a slower guy, there's not much you can do when a guy's that much larger and doesn't want to engage. There's not much you could do. But why are we questioning his hunger? He's fighting twice a year, 20 years into his career, hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. Crawford gets his first Crawford hasn't fought twice in a year in a very long time now. Maybe since 2019, 2018, he hasn't fought twice in a year. But we're not questioning his hunger. I don't know. I don't like that, man.
At least I say that. It wasn't there a week ago. Maybe it'll be there now. Maybe he's the kind of guy that, and I get it, that at this point in their career, it has to be a big fight to get up. That Canelo can't get up for these fights. He couldn't get up for that fight. All right. If you want to go down that road, go ahead. But my road is still possible. That he got old, that just doesn't have that fire no more. Oh my God, I'm going to say this one. That maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, I know he's tremendous. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated?
Yeah, he definitely could be. Man, there's nothing wrong with that. Michael Jordan's overrated. LeBron James is overrated. Once you reach a certain stature, there's no other option but being overrated. I would want for Teddy Atlas to elaborate more on this. What do you mean by that? Is his ability overrated? Is him as a boxer overrated? What do you mean by this? I think on what aspect are you kind of insisting that Canelo Alvarez is overrated? I don't know. Is he going to touch on this? Let's see.
If you look at some of his biggest fights, the fights where you had to be great to win, that you fought great fighters or near great fighters, you could make the argument that he lost the first Triple G. He didn't embarrass himself, but he got a draw. Second one, you could make the argument he lost that. I know it was a different kind of fight, and he got better. But you can make that. You can make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You can make the argument he was too young in his career. Maybe, although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16. He was 23. He was already pro for how many years? For 8 years, 7 years. But then again, you can still make that argument. Okay. At the end of the day.
Let's talk about Canelo when he faces great fighters, when he faces adversity. I don't do I scored that fight this way. I thought Canelo won. I thought Canelo lost. I go what's really on the paper, unless it was a clear, evident loss. And I don't do the excuses. He lost to Floyd. He got outclassed by Floyd. That's Floyd Mayweather, right? We move on from that. He beats Lara. Lara didn't fight a winning fight. Lara won a bunch of exchanges off the back foot. He didn't engage enough. He beat Lara. Golovkin, I thought he lost the first one, but it was a draw. He beats Golovkin the second time. He beats Golovkin the third time. Golovkin wasn't great at that point. He loses to Bivol. Now, this the thing with Canelo. Canelo is the standard for making a fighter good. So there's a lot of good fighters Canelo has fought, and then he beats them and he handles them convincingly, and those fighters are no longer good. Lara is only brought up in this conversation because Canelo couldn't handle him convincingly. Lara would not be a good fighter if Canelo disposed of him the same way he did a guy like James Kirkland, Miguel Cotto, right? So do you see what I'm saying here? Canelo's the standard. He's the barrier from being not so good and good. Caleb Plant, he gave Canelo some good work. We'll say Caleb Plant's good. Billy Joe Saunders, he stopped him pretty early. He stopped him in the mid rounds. He's not so good. Callum Smith got pummeled. He's not so good. So these fighters we're talking about, they are proclaimed as good outside of Floyd, really. Maybe even Golovkin, because they gave Canelo some great work. You don't become a good fighter until you meet the standard. Canelo Alvarez is the standard. He's been the standard for a long time. Dimitri Bivol did not become a good fighter until he fought Canelo Alvarez. But if Canelo handled Bivol convincingly, how he does most of his opponents through 70-something fights now, we wouldn't be calling Bivol good. We'd be calling him a cherry pick, another trash can. But hey.
I think I said this before people killed me, but I said it before it was as easy to say as it is maybe now with Canelo coming off a bad night. I said that this reminds me, and it could be like Pacquiao when he fought De La Hoya. Pacquiao, everyone loved De La Hoya. You forget so fast. You guys got short memories. You forget how all of you said De La Hoya was going to kill him. They didn't know a lot about Pacquiao. It was his real coming out party, and he was too big for Pacquiao. He was going to kill him, the whole thing, and I picked Pacquiao every day, twice on Sunday. I said he's going to be too fast. He's going to be too quick. He's going to box circles around him. That's what he's going to do. Now, I know there's a caveat here. I know you could say, well, Pacquiao was dead at the weight. We didn't know that going in. I don't know if he was. Maybe he was. I don't know. But then you could say, well, maybe Canelo is old. If you're going to make that excuse for De La Hoya, did I say Pacquiao by accident?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Did, Oscar. No, I'm with you.
I meant, I'm sorry. Of course, it wasn't Pacquiao dead at the weight. Oscar was dead at the weight. So people would say that. Okay, we didn't know it at the time. We still don't know for sure. Maybe that was part of it. But I'll go back. If you want to do that, I'll go back and say, okay, what are you going to be saying after this one? You might be saying Canelo was too old. Canelo got old. This, that, whatever. So at the end of the day, looking forward, off of the last fight with Canelo, I like Crawford every bit as much as I did before that Canelo fight, and even more now. That's how much I like him.
Yeah, and Vegas is starting to agree with you. The early line is now Canelo minus 220, Terrence Crawford plus 170. It was a little wider before last week's fight. So it is getting a little tighter in that way. And this will be the first promotion for Dana White in boxing.
So Dana White was pulled off that promotion. Now, Canelo being minus 220, I'm going to make Vegas pay like hell. Vegas is going to pay like hell for putting Canelo minus 220. Nobody jumping up 2-3 weight divisions fighting an undisputed pound-for-pound champion should open up at plus 170. We make mistakes. Everybody does. The odd makers aren't artificial intelligence. They're human beings. Right? It's a group of human beings that come together and they see the general consensus opinion. They watch the fights, they study it, and at the end of the day, they're human, and humans make mistakes, and this one's going to be costly. I'm going to put Vegas in hell for putting Canelo minus 220. That is terrible. But anyways, Dana White was pulled off for the promotion.
KO banner. So this is his coming out party in the boxing world. September 14th. It's going to be a big one. We'll be back as we get closer to that one.
September 13th. 13th, I think. Saturday, 13th.
And we'll give you a fight plan and Teddy's final prediction before that one begins.
Boy, oh boy, that's not a bad one to come out for, is it? That's not a bad. You got to hand it to Mr. White. He earned it. He earned it. He put himself up.
Okay, that's probably the end of the video. Teddy Atlas is a cool guy. He doesn't like Canelo. He doesn't even have Canelo as a top 5 Mexican boxer all time. I don't even think he has Canelo top 10, so I understand his hatred towards Canelo. You guys got to take this one with a huge grain of salt, but I wanted to, kind of get, see the thought process of Mr. Teddy Atlas here. I think we had a pretty good conversation. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope to see you guys in the next one.